Hey everyone, it's Nick with Arclight Dynamics again, here to talk about a few crucial maintenance things that should be done to the table and checked on a fairly frequent basis. Alright, so one of the first things we're going to talk about today is going to be your water level. We recommend having your water level about 1/4 of an inch from the top of the slats. That's going to really help reduce the smoke. It's going to reduce thermal distortion, warpage of the material, and such. You can also have a cool flow running on top of it to help enhance that as well, getting the water on top, cooling the material, helping to absorb the smoke. In the end, it's a personal preference at the water level you prefer to have on your table, but the starting recommendation of Arclight is about 1/4 of an inch from the top of the slats to absorb all that smoke that's produced from plasma cutting. So each day at the beginning of the shift and even every sheet of the material, it's a good idea to take a look at your consumables and make sure they're in good working order. If you're using cartridge consumables, they're going to look similar to this. You're going to have a fine cut, which is going to have that crown shape on the end. You're going to have the standard, which has the cone shape. This is just a used one here. When you pop it off of the torch, one thing you would be looking for would be the orifice at the end of the nozzle. The other great thing about these is each time you're done with a sheet, at the beginning of each shift, you can have a scanner. And in here is a little chip. You put a scanner in your phone, you scan that chip on your phone, and that will tell you how many pierces, cut inches, and hours of use that consumable's had to allow you to keep track of, am I getting the most out of these, or is there an issue and they're coming up short a lot? Now, if you're using the standard, or what I would call the standard G5 consumables, the 5 consumable stack, you're going to be checking several of these on a daily basis. Depending on what you're cutting, you're going to pick out your shield, whether it be standard 45, 65, 85 shield or a fine cut 45 shield. With this standard shield, you want to hold it up to the light and look through it. There's 12 small holes in the end of that, and it's really crucial that they're all clean and clear in the same size. The next thing you want to look at is going to be your nozzle. With a standard nozzle, it has this nipple shape on the end. You want to make sure that that orifice is nice and round. If you're starting the day or the shift with some thinner material and fine cuts, you want to make sure you have your fine cut shield. It's kind of this stair-step UFO looking shape here. Larger holes in it, so harder for those to get clogged up. Plasma is really crucial on airflow. That's why all of these really need to be clean and clear. When it comes to the fine cut nozzles, your fine cut nozzles are a dome shape. Once they start to wear, they don't keyhole out like your standard consumables. You'll notice the orifice goes from really small to larger. So I recommend, if you're facing a lot of cut quality issues and you're not so sure about your nozzle, take your current nozzle and hold it up next to a brand new one, and I guarantee you'll notice the orifice is considerably bigger. When you then go to your electrode, your brand new electrode should look like this, has a hafnium pit, should be flush with the top. As you fire it, you're going to get a small mark in it. As it's used, that hafnium will start to pit out. And then it will pit out a little bit more. Once it reaches about 1 millimeter to 1.5 millimeters, which I don't have a good way of measuring it, if you run it out over that, you risk having a blowout. If you blow that out, that hafnium will fill the shield and all of those little holes with hafnium, and you'll have to replace the whole thing along with your nozzle. Two other things to kind of look at each day that aren't a huge necessity are going to be your retaining cap, making sure all its little holes are clean and clear, and not to run that out over a year of use. The swirl ring is going to stay up inside of the body of the torch generally, and it looks usually brand new. But as it starts to wear, you might get 0-30 stuck consumable faults on the hypertherm. So if you see that come up, you definitely want to get that replaced first. 030 stuck consumables will replace the swirl ring. So now we're going to touch on the most crucial point of the maintenance of the table, is maintaining the grease in the rails. We have linear rails on the x-axis from left to right. We also have linear rails on the y-axis front to back. Those have a lot of friction buildup and need to be greased on a regular basis. We have over here, we have our x-axis Zerk fittings. We have one for the top rail. We have one for the bottom rail. We need to make sure those are nice and greased. We also have a set of Zerk fittings here. There's one in the front and then one in the back side of this gantry as well on both sides. Those need to be done. If you get nothing else out of the maintenance, making sure those are done, it's that crucial. We have another set of little grease fittings that need to be done on a semi-regular basis, but not nearly as often because there's not as much friction buildup in these as there is the others. So there's a small linear rail right back behind the anti-collision detection system. You have a mini grease fitting here and a mini grease fitting on the bottom. You're going to want to grease those with a straw fitting. It has a concave end and it's really long to get down in between that faceplate to get to that fitting. Like I said, that could be done more on a monthly or 3-month basis since there's very little friction buildup in that. But other than that, maintaining the grease in these rails, you're going to want to use a low viscosity lithium is what's really recommended, or a graphite moly grease, an EP1 or an EP2. Now a good way to tell if you've greased them good or not, you would come over and you would wipe down about a foot section of the rail. You would then drive your x-axis or y-axis front and back, left or right, across that clean spot. And you would look at that. Do you have a nice film of grease across that spot? Or is it streaky? There's no grease there really. If there's not, if it's not a nice film, you're going to want to grease it again, run it around a few minutes, wipe down another section, and try it again. And as you see here today, those are a few crucial maintenance steps to the table to help maintain it. But if you get nothing else out of this, maintenance and grease on the rails is a necessity. Have a great day, everyone.